Calgary, located in the province of Alberta, is one of Canada's most dynamic and rapidly growing cities. Nestled at the foothills of the Canadian Rockies, Calgary offers a unique blend of urban sophistication and easy access to some of North America's most breathtaking natural landscapes. Historically, Calgary began as a small frontier town during the late 19th century, primarily serving as a gateway for settlers and ranchers drawing to Alberta's vast prairies. Its roots in the cattle industry laid the foundation for the city's enduring connection to the rugged spirit of the West, a heritage that is celebrated annually at the world-famous Calgary Stampede. This event, known as the greatest outdoor show on earth, brings together rodeos, exhibitions, and a vibrant festival atmosphere that honors the traditions of Western culture and showcases Calgary's enduring community spirit. Today, Calgary is much more than just a historic cattle town, it is a thriving economic and cultural hub. The city's skyline is punctuated by modern architectural marvels, reflective of its status as a center for energy, technology, and finance. Despite its urban growth, Calgary has retained a strong commitment to sustainability and green spaces. The Bow River, which winds through the heart of the city, provides not only a scenic backdrop but also a host of recreational opportunities such as walking, cycling, and kayaking along its banks. Calgary's neighborhoods offer a diverse array of experiences. From the bustling downtown core, where business and culture intersect, to quieter, family-friendly suburbs, the city caters to all lifestyles. The Arts District is alive with theaters, galleries, and music venues, making Calgary a vibrant center for creativity and innovation. This cultural richness is complemented by a variety of culinary delights that range from traditional Canadian cuisine to international flavors, reflecting the city's multicultural makeup. Sports enthusiasts also find Calgary to be a heaven. The city is home to professional teams and world-class sporting facilities that host hockey games, football matches, and major international events. The legacy of hosting the 1988 Winter Olympics is still evident in the city's commitment to sports and outdoor activities. Moreover, Calgary serves as an ideal base for exploring the natural wonders of Alberta. With the majestic Rocky Mountains just a short drive away, residents and visitors alike enjoy easy access to hiking, skiing, and mountain biking, all while living in a modern urban environment. In summary, Calgary is a city that encapsulates the spirit of the Canadian West, rich in heritage, economically vibrant, and surrounded by stunning natural beauty. Whether you are drawn to its bustling urban life, cultural festivities, or the great outdoors, Calgary offers a dynamic and welcoming environment that continues to evolve while staying true to its unique roots. Calgary is the largest city in the Canadian province of Alberta. It is the largest metro area within the three prairie provinces. As of 2021, the city proper had a population of 1,306,784 and a metropolitan population of 1,680,000, making it the third largest city and fifth largest metropolitan area in Canada. Calgary is at the confluence of the Bow River and the Elbow River in the southwest of the province, in the transitional area between the Rocky Mountain foothills and the Canadian prairies, about 80 kilometers 50 mi east of the Front Ranges of the Canadian Rockies, roughly 299 kilometers 186 mi south of the provincial capital of Edmonton, and approximately 240 kilometers 150 mi north of the Canada-United States border. The city anchors the south end of the Statistics Canada-defined urban area, the Calgary-Edmonton corridor. Calgary's economy includes activity in many sectors: energy, financial services, film and television, transportation and logistics, technology, manufacturing, aerospace, health and wellness, retail, and tourism. The Calgary metropolitan region is home to Canada's second-largest number of corporate head offices among the country's 800 largest corporations. In 2015, Calgary had the largest number of millionaires per capita of any major Canadian city. In 2022, Calgary was ranked alongside Zurich as the third most livable city in the world, ranking first in Canada and in North America. In 1988, it became the first Canadian city to host the Olympic Winter Games. Because of this location, Calgary has a semi-monsoonal humid continental climate. Calgary was named after Calgary Castle in Scottish Gaelic, Castile Chelgarith on the Isle of Mull in Scotland. Colonel James MacLeod, the Commissioner of the Northwest Mounted Police, had been a frequent summer guest there. In 1876, shortly after returning to Canada, he suggested its name for what became Fort Calgary. The indigenous peoples of southern Alberta refer to the Calgary area as Elbow, in reference to the sharp bend made by the Bow River and the Elbow River. In some cases, the area was named after the reeds that grew along the riverbanks, reeds that had been used to fashion bows. In the Blackfoot language Siksika, the area is known as Mokinstsis Akapayoyais, meaning elbow many houses, reflecting its strong settler presence. The shorter form of the Blackfoot name, Mokinstsis, simply meaning elbow, is the popular indigenous term for the Calgary area. In the Nakoda or Stoney language, the area is known as Wichispa Oide or Wenchi Ispace, both meaning elbow. In the Cree language, the area is known as Otosquanic meaning at the elbow or Otosquuni meaning elbow. In the Zautina language Sarsi, the area is known as Gutsai Tsi older orthography, Kutsisa meaning elbow. In Kootenai language, the city is referred to as. In the Slavey language, the area is known as Klinchutinaindihai meaning many horse town, referring to the Calgary Stampede and the city's settler heritage. There have been several attempts to revive the indigenous names of Calgary. In response to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Canada, local post-secondary institutions adopted official acknowledgements of indigenous territory using the Blackfoot name of the city, Mokinstsis. In 2017, the Stoney Nakoda sent an application to the government of Alberta to rename Calgary as Wichispa Oide meaning elbow town. However, this was challenged by the Piikani Blackfoot. Calgary is at the transition zone between the Canadian Rockies, foothills, and the Canadian prairies. The city lies within the foothills of the Parkland Natural Region and the Grasslands Natural Region. Downtown Calgary is about 1042.4 m 3,420 feet above sea level, and the airport is 1076 meters 3,531 feet. In 2011, the city covered a land area of 825.29 square kilometers 318.65 sq mi. Calgary is in southern Alberta and also next to the Rocky Mountains. Two rivers and two creeks run through the city. The Bow River is the larger, and it flows from the west to the south. The Elbow River flows northwards from the south until it converges with the Bow River at the historic site of Fort Calgary near downtown. Nose Creek flows into Calgary from the northwest, then south to join the Bow River several kilometers east of the Elbow confluence. Fish Creek flows into Calgary from the southwest and converges with the Bow River near Mackenzie Lake. The city of Calgary, 848 square kilometers, 327 sq mi in size, consists of an inner city surrounded by suburban communities of various density. The city is immediately surrounded by two municipal districts, Foothills County to the south and Rocky View County to the north, west and east. Proximate urban communities beyond the city within the Calgary metropolitan region include the city of Airdrie to the north, the city of Chestermere, the town of Strathmore and the hamlet of Langdon to the east, the towns of Okotoks and High River to the south, and the town of Cochrane to the northwest. Numerous rural subdivisions are located within the Elbow Valley, Springbank and Bearspaw areas to the west and northwest. The Tsuut'ina Nation Indian Reserve No. 145 borders Calgary to the southwest. Over the years, the city has made many land annexations to facilitate growth. In the most recent annexation of lands from the surrounding Rocky View County, completed in July 2007, the city annexed Sheppard, a former hamlet, and placed its boundaries adjacent to the hamlet of Balzac and city of Chestermere, and very close to the city of Airdrie. The downtown region of the city consists of 5 neighborhoods: Eau Claire, the downtown West End, the downtown Commercial Core, Chinatown, and the downtown East Village, also part of the Reverse District. The commercial core is itself divided into a number of districts, including the Stephen Avenue Retail Core, the Entertainment District, the Arts District, and the Government District. Distinct from downtown and south of 9th Avenue is Calgary's densest neighborhood, the Beltline. The area includes a number of communities, such as Connorta, Victoria Crossing, and a portion of the Reverse District. The Beltline is the focus of major planning and rejuvenation initiatives on the part of the municipal government to increase the density and liveliness of Calgary's centre. Directly radiating from the downtown core is the first of the inner-city communities. These include Crescent Heights, Hounsfield Heights, Briar Hill, Hillhurst, Sunnyside including Kensington BRZ, Bridgeland, Renfrew, Mount Royal, Scarborough, Sunalta, Mission, Ramsay and Inglewood, and Albert Park. Radisson Heights directly to the east. The inner city is, in turn, surrounded by relatively dense and established neighborhoods such as Rosedale and Mount Pleasant to the north, Bowness, Kirkcudbright, Shagnappy, Westgate and Glendale to the west, Park Hill, South Calgary including Mardalu, Bankview, Altadore, and Killarney to the south, and Forest Lawn International Avenue to the east. Lying beyond these, and usually separated from one another by highways, are suburban communities including Evergreen, Somerset, Auburn Bay, Country Hills, Sundance, Chaparral, Riverbend, and Mackenzie Tone. In all, there are over 180 distinct neighborhoods within the city limits. Several of Calgary's neighborhoods were initially separate municipalities that were annexed by the city as it grew. These include Bowness, Montgomery, Middenpur, Sheppard, and Forest Lawn. Calgary experiences a semi-monsoonal humid continental climate Köppen climate classification, Trevartha climate classification DCLO within the city. The city is also considered close to a cool semi-arid climate Köppen climate classification BSK, Trevartha climate classification BSLO. The city has warm, wet summers and cold, dry, but highly variable winters. According to Environment Canada, average daily temperatures in Calgary range from 16.9 degrees Celsius (62.4 degrees Fahrenheit) in July to 7.6 degrees Celsius (18.3 degrees Fahrenheit) in January. Winters in Calgary are more moderate than in the rest of Alberta, and are surprisingly mild for the city's continentality, due to the Chinook winds that are prevalent in the city during the winter. The highest temperature ever recorded in Calgary was 36.7 degrees Celsius (98.1 degrees Fahrenheit) on 10th August 2018. The lowest temperature ever recorded was 45.0 degrees Celsius (49.0 degrees Fahrenheit) on 4th February 1893. The wettest month is June with an average precipitation of 112.7 millimeters (4.44 in), while the driest month is January with an average precipitation of 10.0 millimeters (0.39 inches). Calgary falls into the NRC Plant Hardiness Zone 4A and USDA Zone 4, but within recent years falls under USDA Zones 4B or 5A, as unlike NRC zones, USDA zones are solely based on low temperature. In the 2021 census of population conducted by Statistics Canada, the city of Calgary had a population of 1,306,784 living in 502,301 of its 531,062 total private dwellings, a change of 5.5% from its 2016 population of 1,239,220. With a land area of 820.62 square kilometers, 316.84 sqmi, it had a population density of 1,592.4 square kilometers, 4,124.4 sqmi in 2021. At the census metropolitan area level, in the 2021 census, the Calgary CMA had a population of 1,481,806 living in 563,440 of its 594,513 total private dwellings, a change of 6.4% from its 2016 population of 1,392,609. With a land area of 5,098.68 square kilometers, 1,968.61 sqmi, it had a population density of 290.6 square kilometers, 752.7 sqmi in 2021. The population of the city of Calgary according to its 2019 municipal census is 1,285,711, a change of 1.4% from its 2018 municipal census population of 1,267,344. In the 2016 census of population conducted by Statistics Canada, the city of Calgary had a population of 1,239,220 living in 466,725 of its 489,650 total private dwellings, a change of 13% from its 2011 population of 1,096,833. With a land area of 825.56 square kilometers, 318.75 sqmi, it had a population density of 1,501.1 square kilometers, 3,887.7 sqmi in 2016. Calgary was ranked first among the 3 cities in Canada that saw their population grow by more than 100,000 people between 2011 and 2016. During this time, Calgary saw a population growth of 1,42,387 people, followed by Edmonton at 120,345 people and Toronto at 116,511 people. The Calgary Census Metropolitan Area is the 4th largest CMA in Canada and the largest in Alberta. It had a population of 1,392,609 in the 2016 census compared to its 2011 population of 1,214,839. Its 5-year population change of 14.6% was the highest among all CMAs in Canada between 2011 and 2016. With a land area of 5,107.55 square kilometers, 1,972.04 sqmi, the Calgary CMA had a population density of 272.7 square kilometers, 706.2 sqmi in 2016. Statistics Canada's latest estimate of the Calgary CMA population, as of 1st July 2017, is 1,488,841. In 2015, the population within an hour commuting distance of the city was 1,511,755. As a consequence of the large number of corporations, as well as the presence of the energy sector in Alberta, Calgary has a median family income of $104,530. The 2021 census reported that individuals born outside Canada comprise 430,640 persons, or 33.3% of the total population of Calgary. Of the total immigrant population, the top countries of origin were Philippines 65,430 persons, or 15.2%, India 56,515 persons, or 13.1%, China 36,240 persons, or 8.4%, United Kingdom 20,415 persons, or 4.7%, Pakistan 18,375 persons, or 4.3%, Vietnam 15,395 persons, or 3.6%, Nigeria 12,450 persons, or 2.9%, United States of America 10,890 persons, or 2.5%, Hong Kong 10,775 persons, or 2.5%, and South Korea 8,210 persons, or 1.9%. According to the 2016 census, 60% of Calgary's population was white or European, 4% were indigenous, and 36.2% belonged to a visible minority group non-white and non-indigenous. Among those of European origin, the most frequently reported ethnic backgrounds were British, German, Irish, French, and Ukrainian. Among visible minorities, South Asians' ethnic backgrounds mainly from India and Pakistan make up the largest group 9.5%, followed by Chinese 6.8% and Filipinos 5.5%. 5.4% were of African or Caribbean origin, 3.5% was of West Asian or Middle Eastern origin, while 2.6% of the population was of Latin American origin. Of the largest Canadian cities, Calgary ranked fourth in the proportion of visible minorities, behind Toronto, Vancouver, and Winnipeg. 20.7% of the population identified as Canadian in ethnic origin. The Calgary area was inhabited by pre-Clovis people whose presence traces back at least 11,000 years. The area has been inhabited by multiple First Nations, the Niitsitapi Blackfoot Confederacy, Siksika, Kainai, Piikani, Iarhe Nakoda, Zautina peoples and Metis Nation, Region 3. In 1787, David Thompson, a 17-year-old cartographer with the Hudson's Bay Company, spent the winter with a band of Piikani Nation encamped along the Bow River. He was also a fur trader and surveyor, and the first recorded European to visit the area. John Gloon was the first documented European settler in the Calgary area in 1873. In spring 1875, three priests, Lacombe, Remus, and Scollin, built a small log cabin on the banks of the Elbow River. In the fall of 1875, the site became a post of the Northwest Mounted Police, now the Royal Canadian Mounted Police or RCMP. The NWMP detachment was assigned to protect the Western Plains from US whiskey traders and to protect the fur trade, and Inspector Ephraim Bryce Boys led 50 Mounties as part of F Troop north from Fort Macleod to establish the site. The I.G. Baker Company of Fort Benton, Montana, was contracted to construct a suitable fort, and after its completion, the Baker Company built a log store next to the fort. The NWMP fort remained officially nameless until construction was complete, although it had been referred to as the Mouth by people at Fort Macleod. At Christmas dinner, NWMP Inspector Ephraim Bryce Boys christened the unnamed fort Fort Bryce Boys, a decision which caught the ire of his superiors Colonel James Macleod and Major Atchison Irvine. Major Irvine cancelled the order by Bryce Boys and wrote Hewitt Bernard, the then Deputy Minister of Justice in Ottawa, describing the situation and suggesting the name Calgary put forward by Colonel Macleod. Edward Blake, at the time Minister of Justice, agreed with the name, and in the spring of 1876, Fort Calgary was officially established. In 1877, the First Nations ceded title to the Fort Calgary region through Treaty 7. In 1881, the federal government began to offer leases for cattle ranching in Alberta up to 400 square kilometers, 100,000 acres for 1 cent per acre per year under the Dominion Lands Act, which became a catalyst for immigration to the settlement. The I.G. Baker Company drove the first herd of cattle to the region in the same year for the Cochrane area by order of Major James Walker. The Canadian Pacific Railway reached the area in August 1883 and constructed a railway station on the CPR-owned Section 15, neighboring the townsite across the Elbow River to the east on Section 14. The difficulty in crossing the river and the CPR's efforts to persuade residents resulted in the core of the Calgary townsite moving on to Section 15, with the fate of the old townsite sealed when the post office was anonymously moved across the icy Elbow River during the night. The CPR subdivided Section 15 and began selling lots surrounding the station, $450 for corner lots and $350 for all others, and pioneer Felix McHugh constructed the first private building on the site. Earlier in the decade, it was not expected that the railway would pass near Calgary. Instead, the preferred route put forward by people concerned with the young nation's defense was passing near Edmonton and through the Yellowhead Pass. However, in 1881 CPR changed the plans, preferring the direct route through the prairies by way of Kicking Horse Pass. Along with the CPR, August 1883 brought Calgary the first edition of the Calgary Herald, published on the 31st under the title The Calgary Herald, Mining and Ranche Advocate and General Advertiser by teacher Andrew M. Armour and printer Thomas B. Braden, a weekly newspaper with a subscription price of $1 per year. Over a century later, the CPR headquarters moved to Calgary from Montreal in 1996. Residents of the now 8-year-old settlement sought to form a local government of their own. In the first weeks of 1884, James Rayleigh, who was building the Royal Hotel east of the Elbow River, circulated 200 handbills announcing a public meeting on 7 January 1884 at the Methodist Church. At the full meeting, Rayleigh advocated for a bridge across the Elbow River and a civic committee to watch over the interests of the public until Calgary could be incorporated. The attendees were enthusiastic about the committee, and on the next evening a vote was held to elect the 7 members. A total of 24 candidates were nominated, which equaled 10% of Calgary's male population. Major James Walker received 88 votes, the most amongst the candidates. The other 6 members were Dr. Andrew Henderson, George Clift King, Thomas Swan, George Murdoch, J. D. Moulton, and Captain John Stewart. The Civic Committee met with Egbert Dewdney, Lieutenant Governor of the Northwest Territories, who happened to be in Calgary at the time, to discuss an allowance for a school, an increase from $300 to $1,000 grant for a bridge over the Elbow River, incorporation as a town, and representation for Calgary in the Legislative Council of the Northwest Territories. The committee was successful in getting an additional $200 for the bridge. In May, Major Walker, acting on instructions from the NWT Lieutenant Governor, organized a public meeting in the NWMP barracks room on the issue of getting a representative in the NWT Council. Walker wrote the clerk of the council that he was prepared to produce evidence that Calgary and environs, an area of 1,000 square miles, held 1,000 residents, the requirement for having a council member. A by-election was held on 28 June 1884, where James Davidson Geddes defeated James Kidd Oswald to become the Calgary Electoral District representative on the first Council of the Northwest Territories. As for education, Calgary moved quickly. The Citizens Committee raised $125 on 6 February 1884, and the first school opened for 12 children days later on 18 February, led by teacher John William Costello. The private school was not enough for the needs of the town, and following a petition by James Walker, the Calgary Protestant Public School District No. 19 was formed by the legislature on 2 March 1885. On 27 November 1884, Lieutenant Governor Dewdney proclaimed the incorporation of the town of Calgary. Shortly after, on 3 December, Calgarians went to the polls to elect their first mayor and 4 councillors. The Northwest Municipal Ordinance of 1884 provided voting rights to any male British subject over 21 years of age who owned at minimum $300 of property. Each elector was able to cast 1 vote for the mayor and up to 4 votes for the councillors, plurality block voting. George Murdoch won the mayoral race in a landslide victory with 202 votes over E. Redpath's 16, while Simon Jackson Hogg, Neville James Lindsay, Joseph Henry Milward, and Simon John Clark were elected councillors. The next morning the council met for the first time at Bowdoin and Clark's Salon. Law and order remained top of mind in the frontier town. In early 1884, Jack Campbell was appointed as a constable for the community, and in early 1885 the town council passed bylaw 11 creating the position of chief constable and assigning relevant duties, a precursor to the Calgary Police Service. The first chief constable, John Jack S. Ingram, who had previously served as the first police chief in Winnipeg, was empowered to arrest drunken and disorderly people, stop all fast riding in town, attend all fires and council meetings. Calgary Town Council was eager to employ constables versus contracting the NWMP for town duty, as the police force was seen as a money-making proposition. Constables received half of the fines from liquor cases, meaning Chief Constable Ingram could easily pay his $60 per month salary and the expense of a town jail. For the town of Calgary, 1884 turned out to be a success. However, 2 dark years lay ahead for the fledgling community. The turmoil started in late 1885, when Councillor Clark was arrested for threatening a plainclothes Mountie who entered his saloon to conduct a late-night search. When the officer failed to produce a search warrant, Clark chased him off the premises. However, the Mountie returned with reinforcements and arrested Clark. Clark found himself before stipendiary magistrate Jeremiah Travis, a proponent of the temperance movement who was appalled by the open traffic of liquor, gambling and prostitution in Calgary despite prohibition in the Northwest Territories. Travis' view was accurate as the Royal Commission of Liquor Traffic of 1892 found liquor was sold openly, both day and night during Prohibition. Travis associated Clark with the troubles he saw in Calgary and found him guilty and sentenced Clark to 6 months with hard labor. Murdoch and the other members of council were shocked, and a public meeting was held at Boynton's Hall in which a decision was made to send a delegation to Ottawa to seek an overruling of Travis' judgment by the Department of Justice. The community quickly raised $500, and Murdoch and a group of residents headed east. The punishment of Clark did not escape Hugh Cayley, the editor of the Calgary Herald and clerk of the district court. Cayley published articles critical of Travis and his judgment, in which Travis responded by calling Cayley to court, dismissing him from his position as clerk, ordering Cayley to apologize and pay a $100 fine. Cayley refused to pay the fine, which Travis increased to $500, and on 5th January, the day after the January 1886 Calgary town election, Cayley was imprisoned by Travis. Murdoch returned to Calgary on 27 December 1885, only a week before the election, to find the town in disarray. Shortly before the 1886 election, G. E. Marsh brought a charge of corruption against Murdoch and council over irregularities in the voters list. Travis found Murdoch and the councillors guilty, disqualifying them from running in the 1886 election, barring them from municipal office for 2 years, and fining Murdoch $100 and the councillors $20. This was despite the fact Murdoch was visiting Eastern Canada while the alleged tampering was occurring. Travis' disqualification did not dissuade Calgary voters, and Murdoch defeated his opponent James Rayleigh by a significant margin in early January to be re-elected as mayor. Travis accepted a petition from Rayleigh to unseat Murdoch and 2 of the elected councillors, and declare Rayleigh the mayor of Calgary. Both Murdoch and Rayleigh claimed to be the lawful mayor of the growingly disorganized town of Calgary, both holding council meetings and attempting to govern. Word of the issues in Calgary reached the Minister of Justice John Sparrow David Thompson in Ottawa, who ordered Justice Thomas Wardlaw Taylor of Winnipeg to conduct an inquiry into the case of Jeremiah Travis. The federal government acted before receiving Taylor's report. Jeremiah Travis was suspended, and the government waited for his official tenure to expire, after which he was pensioned off. Justice Taylor's report, which was released in June 1887, found Travis had exceeded his authority and erred in his judgments. The Territorial Council called for a new municipal election to be held in Calgary on 3 November 1886. George Clift King defeated his opponent John Lineham for the office of Mayor of Calgary. Calgary had only a couple days peace following the November election before the Calgary fire of 1886 destroyed much of the community's downtown. Part of the slow response to the fire can be attributed to the absence of functioning local government during 1886. As neither George Murdoch or James Rayleigh was capable of effectively governing the town, the newly ordered chemical engine for the recently organized Calgary Fire Department Calgary Hook, Ladder and Bucket Courts was held in the CPR's storage yard due to lack of payment. Members of the Calgary Fire Department broke into the CPR storage yard on the day of the fire to retrieve the engine. In total, 14 buildings were destroyed, with losses estimated at $103,200, although no one was killed or injured. The new town council sprung into action, drafting a bylaw requiring all large downtown buildings to be built with sandstone, which was readily available nearby in the form of Pascatoo sandstone. Following the fire, several quarries were opened around the city by prominent local businessmen including Thomas Edworthy, Wesley Fletcher ORR, J. G. McCallum and William Oliver. Prominent buildings built with sandstone following the fire include Knox Presbyterian Church 1887, Imperial Bank Building 1887, Calgary City Hall 1911, and Calgary Courthouse No. 2 1914. In February 1887, Donald Watson Davis, who was running the I.G. Baker store in Calgary, was elected MP for Alberta Provincial District. A former whiskey trader in southern Alberta, he had turned his hand to building Fort Macleod and Fort Calgary. The main other contender for the job, Frank Oliver, was a prominent Edmontonian, so Davis' success was a sign that Calgary was surpassing Edmonton, previously the main center on the western prairies. Calgary continued to expand when real estate speculation took hold of Calgary in 1889. Speculators began buying and building west of Centre Street, and Calgary quickly began to sprawl west to the ire of property owners on the east side of town. Property owners on both sides of Centre Street sought to bring development to their side of Calgary, lost successfully by East Sider James Walker, who convinced the town council to purchase land on the east side to build a stockyard, guaranteeing meat packing and processing plants would be constructed on the east side. By 1892, Calgary had reached present-day 17th Avenue, east to the Elbow River and west to 8th Street, and the first federal census listed the boomtown at 3,876 inhabitants. The economic conditions in Calgary began to deteriorate in 1892 as development in the downtown slowed, the streetcar system started in 1889 was put on hold, and smaller property owners began to sell. The first step in connecting the District of Alberta happened in Calgary on 21 July 1890 as Minister of the Interior Edgar Dewdney turned the first sod for the Calgary and Edmonton Railway in front of 2,000 residents. The railway was completed in August 1891. Although its end of steel was on the south side of the river opposite Edmonton, it immensely shortened travel time between the two communities. Previously, stagecoach passengers and mail could arrive in 5 days, and animal-pulled freight anywhere between 2 and 3 weeks. The train was able to make the trip in only a few hours. Smallpox arrived in Calgary in June 1892 when a Chinese resident was found with the disease, and by August 9 people had contracted the disease with 3 deaths. Calgarians placed the blame for the disease on the local Chinese population, resulting in a riot on 2 August 1892. Residents descended on the town's Chinese-owned laundries, smashing windows and attempting to burn the structures to the ground. The local police did not attempt to intervene. Mayor Alexander Lucas had inexplicably left town during the riot, and when he returned home he called the NWMP in to patrol Calgary for 3 weeks to prevent further riots. Finally, on 1 January 1894, Calgary was granted a charter by the 2nd Northwest Legislative Assembly, officially titled Ordinance 33 of 1894. The City of Calgary Charter elevated the frontier town to the status of a full-fledged city. Calgary became the first city in the Northwest Territories, receiving its charter a decade before Edmonton and Regina. The Calgary Charter remained in force until it was repealed with the Cities Act in 1950. The charter came into effect in such a way as to prevent the regularly scheduled municipal election in December 1893, and recognizing the importance of the moment, the entire town council resigned to ensure the new city could choose the first Calgary City Council. Calgary's first municipal election as a city saw Wesley Fletcher ORR garner 244 votes, narrowly defeating his opponent William Henry Cushings to 20 votes, and ORR was named the first mayor of the city of Calgary. By late 19th century, the Hudson's Bay Company expanded into the interior and established posts along rivers that later developed into the modern cities of Winnipeg, Calgary and Edmonton. In 1884, the HBC established a sales shop in Calgary. HBC also built the first of the grand original 6 department stores in Calgary in 1913. Others that followed were Edmonton, Vancouver, Victoria, Saskatoon, and Winnipeg. In October 1899, the village of Rouleauville was incorporated by French Catholic residents south of Calgary's city limits in what is now known as Mission. The town did not remain independent for long and became the first incorporated municipality to be amalgamated into Calgary 8 years later in 1907. The turn of the century brought questions of provincehood the top of mind in Calgary. On 1st September 1905, Alberta was proclaimed a province with a provisional capital in Edmonton. It would be left up to the legislature to choose the permanent location. One of the first decisions of the new Alberta legislature was the capital, and although William Henry Cushing advocated strongly for Calgary, the resulting vote saw Edmonton win the capital 16-8. Calgarians were disappointed on the city not being named the capital, and focused their attention on the formation of the provincial university. However, the efforts by the community could not sway the government, and the University of Alberta was founded in the city of Strathcona, Premier Rutherford's home, which was subsequently amalgamated into the city of Edmonton in 1912. Calgary was not to be left without higher education facilities, as the Provincial Normal School opened in the McDougall School building in 1905. In 1910, R.B. Bennett introduced a bill in the Alberta legislature to incorporate the Calgary University. However, there was significant opposition to degree-granting institutions in such a small province. A commission was appointed to evaluate the Calgary proposal, which found the second university to be unnecessary. However, the commission did recommend the formation of the Provincial Institute of Technology and Art in Calgary, which was formed later in 1915. Built-up areas of Calgary between 1905 and 1912 were serviced by power and water. The city continued a program of paving and sidewalk laying, and with the CPR constructed a series of subways under the tracks to connect the town with streetcars. The first 3 motor buses hit Calgary streets in 1907, and 2 years later the municipally owned street railway system, fit with 7 miles of track, opened in Calgary. The immediately popular street railway system reached 250,000 passengers per month by 1910. The privately owned MacArthur Bridge, precursor to the Centre Street Bridge over the Bow River, opened in 1907, which provided for residential expansion north of the Bow River. The early 1910s saw real estate speculation hit Calgary once again, with property prices rising significantly with growing municipal investment. CTR's decision to construct a car shop at Ogden, set to employ over 5,000 people, the projected arrival of the Grand Trunk Pacific and Canadian Northern Railways in the city, and Calgary's growing reputation as a growing economic hub. The period between 1906 and 1911 was the largest population growth period in the city's history, expanding from 11,967 to 43,704 inhabitants in the 5-year period. Several ambitious projects were started during this period, including a new city hall, the Hudson's Bay Department Store, the Grain Exchange Building, and the Palisa Hotel. This period also corresponded to the end of the Sandstone City era, as steel frames and terracotta facades such as the Burns Building 1913, which were prevalent in other North American cities, overtook the unique sandstone character of Calgary. The growing city and enthusiastic residents were rewarded in 1908 with the federally funded Dominion exhibition. Seeking to take advantage of the opportunity to promote itself, the city spent CAD $145,000 to build 6 new pavilions and a racetrack. It held a lavish parade as well as rodeo, horse racing, and trick roping competitions as part of the event. The exhibition was a success, drawing 100,000 people to the fairgrounds over 7 days despite an economic recession that afflicted the city of 25,000. Calgary had previously held a number of agricultural exhibitions dating back to 1886, and recognizing the city's enthusiasm, Guy Weddick, an American trick roper who participated in the Dominion exhibition as part of the Miller Brothers' 101 Ranch Real Wild West show, returned to Calgary in 1912 to host the first Calgary Stampede in the hopes of establishing an event that more accurately represented the Wild West than the shows he was a part of. He initially failed to sell civic leaders and the Calgary Industrial Exhibition on his plans, but with the assistance of local livestock agent H. C. McMullane, Weddick convinced businessmen Pat Burns, George Lane, A. J. McLean, and A. E. Cross to put up $100,000 to guarantee funding for the event. The Big Four, as they came to be known, viewed the project as a final celebration of their life as cattlemen. The city constructed a rodeo arena on the fairgrounds, and over 100,000 people attended the 6-day event in September 1912 to watch hundreds of cowboys from Western Canada, the United States, and Mexico compete for $20,000 in prizes. The event generated $120,000 in revenue and was hailed as a success. The Calgary Stampede has continued as a civic tradition for over 100 years, marketing itself as the greatest outdoor show on earth, with Calgarians sporting Western wear for 10 days while attending the annual parade, daily pancake breakfasts. While agriculture and railway activities were the dominant aspects of Calgary's early economy, the Turner Valley discovery well blew southwest of Calgary on 14 May 1914, marked the beginning of the oil and gas age in Calgary. Archibald Wayne Dingman and Calgary Petroleum Products discovery was heralded as the biggest oil field in the British Empire at around 19 million cubic meters, and in a 3-week period an estimated 500 oil companies sprang into existence. Calgarians were enthusiastic to invest in new oil companies, with many losing life savings during the short 1914 boom in hastily formed companies. Outbreak of the First World War further dampened the oil craze as more men and resources left for Europe and agricultural prices for wheat and cattle increased. Turner Valley's oil fields would boom again in 1924 and 1936, and by the Second World War the Turner Valley oil field was producing more than 95% of the oil in Canada. However, the city would wait until 1947 for Leduc No. 1 to definitively shift Calgary to an oil and gas city. While Edmonton would see significant population and economic growth with the Leduc discovery, many corporate offices established in Calgary after Turner Valley refused to relocate north. Consequently, by 1967, Calgary had more millionaires than any other city in Canada and per capita, more cars than any city in the world. Early 20th century Calgary served as a hotbed for political activity. Historically, Calgarians supported the provincial and federal conservative parties, the opposite of the liberal-friendly city of Edmonton. However, Calgarians were sympathetic to the cause of workers and supported the development of labor organizations. In 1909, the United Farmers of Alberta formed in Edmonton through the merger of two earlier farm organizations as a non-partisan lobbying organization to represent the interests of farmers. The UFA eventually dropped its non-partisan stance when it contested the 1921 provincial election. It was elected to form the province's first non-liberal government. By that time, Calgary was using single transferable vote, a form of proportional representation, to elect its city councillors. Calgary was the first city in Canada to adopt PR for its city elections. Councillors were elected in one at-large district. Each voter cast just a single vote using a ranked transferable ballot. The UFA government elected in 1921 changed the provincial election law so that Calgary could elect its MLAs through PR as well. Calgary elected its MLAs through PR until 1956 and its councillors through PR until 1971, although mostly using instant runoff voting, not STV, in the 1960s. Calgary endured a 6-year recession following the First World War. The high unemployment rate from reduced manufacturing demand, compounded with servicemen returning from Europe needing work, created economic and social unrest. By 1921, over 2,000 men representing 11% of the male workforce were officially unemployed. Labor organizations began endorsing candidates for Calgary City Council in the late 1910s and were quickly successful in electing sympathetic candidates to office, including Mayor Samuel Hunter Adams in 1920. As well, the Industrial Workers of the World and its sequel, the One Big Union, found much support among Calgary workers. The city's support of labor and agricultural groups made it a natural location for the founding meeting of the Cooperative Commonwealth Federation, precursor to the New Democratic Party. The organizational meeting was held in Calgary on 31st July 1932, with attendance exceeding 1,300 people. Pat Lenihan was elected to the Calgary City Council in 1939, in part due to the use of proportional representation in city elections. He is the only Communist Party member elected to Calgary Council. He is the subject of the book Patrick Lenihan From Irish Rebel to Founder of Canadian Public Sector Unionism, edited by Gilbert Levine at Athabasca University Press. In 1922, Civic Government Association formed in opposition to the power of labor groups, endorsing its own competing slate of candidates. Labor's influence was short-lived on the city council, with Labor as a whole failing to receive substantial support after 1924.